Hello again, welcome back to LilyLuLou. If you haven't been here before, my name is Karen, I'm the Junk Journal Geek, and if you are a returning visitor, thank you very much for coming back and joining me again today. So I'm continuing working on my little ephemera holder that I started in the last video. I'm carrying on filming from where I left off, and I thought so it's the same day when I'm starting this, but I'll probably have to finish this video off tomorrow. But I thought I'd show you how I'm just popping these vellum pockets in before I stitch, because as I was doing it, I realised it's a bit fiddly and you might not realise what I've done if I come back and show you it all stitched in. So because trying to explain it, you know, it doesn't always make sense, does it? So I thought I would just show you what I'm doing. So I'm doing these, I've put these big pockets in the front here and I've just held them in place with glue dots until I stitch. And then I've done the bottom pockets on the next page. So I just thought I'd show you how I'm doing this so that you can see what I'm doing. So I'm working sort of in pairs and I'm trying to line up these pockets so that when I stitch, you know, whichever side I stitch, I'm catching both pockets so they're in the same place. So the way I'm doing that is I've all these vellum pieces, the first ones I tore to size, that it's fine for this front one, but I realised that I wanted them wider in the middle pieces to make sure that I'm catching them when I'm stitching, because if I'd have cut them a bit short and then, you know, that they're not exactly the same size on both sides, I might have caught this one on this side, but this side might have been shorter and I might have missed it. I hope that makes sense. So all I'm doing here is I've got a roll of glue dots and I'm just popping a glue dot in the top corner of that piece of vellum, in the bottom corner, a couple along the bottom, one in the bottom corner and one in the top corner. And then the first one, I'm popping it where I want it to be. So that one is stuck down there now. Then I'm getting another pocket that's the same size and doing the same again. So there's a little dot. Let's do it that way because we might chop that edge off. Little dot in the top corner, the bottom corner, a couple along the bottom edge. Probably only really need one along the bottom edge really. And then I'm lining, I'm going to put this one on this page, but I'm lining this up so that this bottom edge and this bottom edge are in the same place. So I don't know if you can see what I'm doing. That bottom edge is there on this side, and I'm putting this one in the same place on the other side, lining it up, she says, in the same place on the other side, as close as I can. So hopefully, when I stitch now, that line of stitching should catch both sides. I hope this is making sense. So I'm going to get another one again, the same size, and do the same thing again with my glue dots. Lining that up so it's in the same place. I'm trying to get it straight-ish which is easier said than done. And then again, I'm going to, this one's not wanting to play ball. I think it's because I've got them overlapping there in the middle. Another one again, another pocket the same size. Doing the same again. So one in each corner, one on the bottom. And then in theory, if I line this up here, it should also line up on the other side. And all these edges I'm going to neaten up with my guillotine once I've done all this. So I'll just do one more set to show you what I'm doing. Now these ones, I've got 2 different sizes, so I'm going to show you this, how I'm going to work with that. So I've got a narrower strip to go on the front here. So I'm going to pop that down about there. It would help if I had my book straight, wouldn't it? It would help me see whether I'm straight or not then, wouldn't it? So that one's there. So let's do the other side while we're at it. I'm going to have that bit hanging off the edge because it's a bit raggedy, so I can take that off when I trim it. So again, I'm lining up the bottom edges here because it's the bottom edge that I'm going to be stitching. I need another dot there because that's not quite in the right place. But it's hanging off the edge, it's going to need snipping. But that will help me line things up on the other side. Now these are a different size, but if I line the bottom edges up, that's all that matters, because it's the bottom edge and the sides that I'm going to be stitching. Although I should have done these bigger ones first because there's not a lot of room there to get things in and out. I've got my little stamp here to see. Oh, it should be okay. We'll make it work. This is a bit, as I say, with me, I have to do things to sort of understand how they work, and then next time I make one I'll have a better idea of what I'm doing, but I have to make one first to sort of get my head around everything. So again, I'm lining up the bottom edge here. And then I'll do the same for this one on this side, matching up these bottom edges, and that hopefully should match up with the other side as well then. I say I'd thought this through for the, you know, having different sizes on each page, but not carefully enough because I should have done the biggest one first, not the smallest one first. I shouldn't have done the narrowest one first. Should have done the widest one first, because obviously you need space at the top to get things in and out. So I'm hoping that that will be enough, you know, to slide things in and out. So I'm going to carry on now doing the same thing on this set of pages. and then I will be doing the stitching. So I'll be back when I've done all that, and it will probably be tomorrow now, but for you it will just be a second or so. See you in a minute. Right, I'm back again. It's actually a couple of days later now. I haven't been able to work on this since I left you the other day, apart from finishing off those bits that I said I was going to finish off, which I think were stitching around everything, which I've done. So stitched around the front and back covers. Try and keep this in frame, and I'm sorry if there's shadows. It's a bit overcast here this morning, so the light's on. I've had this to check my pockets. So yeah, so that's stitched all round, and then I've stitched around, stitched each of the pockets in, and then around each page, which was semi-successful. I had a lot of problems with my sewing machine, not because this was too thick that I was worried about, but I ran out of thread, then I ran out of the bobbin thread, and all sorts of issues going on, but I did it. So, and then I just trimmed the edges where these pockets were overhanging, just to tidy everything up. And that's all I've done so far. But now that it's all done and I've popped it in here, if you can, which way am I going? That way. If you can see the thickness here, I know that my sewing machine is going to struggle to sew down the middle there, which is what I wanted to do. So I'm going to pop these in just with a pamphlet stitch. I'm not going to bother measuring or anything like that. I'm just going to go for it. So the other thing I thought of doing was, you know, popping this in with some elastic. Then you could have added other pages if you wanted to later on down the road, but I thought, I'm not sure where my elastic is, and I just thought this would be easier to do for now, and I've just moved something, felt that move. So let's just make sure. In fact, why don't you just clip it, Karen, and then it won't move. Because I'm rushing, being lazy, that's why. So it's now Easter Sunday. This will be going up today, so happy Easter everybody. Hope you've had some nice treats this morning already, or whenever you happen to be watching this. All right, that will do. As I say, I'm not going to be overly worried about things in this book, because it's just for me, and it's, you know, an exercise to see how this all works, how it all goes together. I've learned lots already by making this. I'm glad I did this little one first before attempting to just do a great big one to keep all my ephemera in, because, you know, I've sort of found what I like about this, what I don't like, what I'll do differently next time. So Max, in your bed. It was definitely worth doing, and it will be useful. It's going to be used for what I intended it to use. It's not been, you know, a wasted exercise, but I'm not 100% happy with it. So just a couple of lengths should be enough. So let's get the stabby book out of the way. Let's see if I can remember what I'm doing. It's early in the morning. I haven't even had one cup of tea yet, and I'm on camera. All these things conspire to make life more difficult than it needs to be at times. Just pop that under there so that it doesn't escape while I'm sewing. Put my box out of the way. Right, so I've gone in through the middle hole. I'm coming back to the middle through the top hole. right down to the bottom hole. And then I'm going up. Let's pull that through first. And I'm coming back through the middle hole, trying not to split my thread as I do. I'm trying to come actually through the hole and not make a new one. So hopefully I have done that. I can't see what I'm doing very well for some reason this morning. It's very gloomy, as I say. So now I'm just pulling these threads so they're quite tight. I think I have made a different hole there. Never mind. Or have I come through my thread? Can't see what I've done. Ah, I think I've come through my actual stitching. I think that's what the issue is. Where I've stitched around the edges, I've actually come through that instead of coming in between the two. Oh, in between the two lines of stitching, so that's not good. But that doesn't seem to be what the issue was either. What have I done? Let's see why this isn't tightening properly. As I say, doing this on camera is always exciting. Never quite know what's going to happen. Right, let's just pull that through here and see if I can see what I've done. That's that one. Yep, I have come through the thread. So I'm just going to pull that back through. Can you see that that's, I'm not sure if you can see this on camera. This thread has come through this one here. So that's why it's not pulling tight properly. Which way was I pulling? This way. Right, let's try that again, Karen. And this is just waxed linen thread that I'm using for this, that came in my little bookbinding kit that you just saw there. I think that might be better. Let's have a try and see. Yes. So I'm just going to pop one thread either side of that middle string. Seems to be a bit better. And tie knot. And I'm not going to have any dangles or anything on this because it's, you know, we don't need them. It's just for storing things. Right, let's put my needle away. Oh, before I lose it, she says dropping it. Now the other thing I need to do in here is just make sure that's all. Normally I would run the bone folder down here, but obviously because of the stitching I'm not going to do that because I don't want to pull all the stitches out. So that's now bound together, as you can see. Now the only thing here was where my sewing machine went funny. And I had to go over it again, and you can see that I've literally, I don't know if you can see that actually, I've just about corked the paper there, so I'm a bit concerned that that may not hold. So what I'm going to do is just rummaging in my box there. I'm going to pop some washi tape on there. I want to put some on both sides. I'm going to might go for gold. Where's my glue stick? Just to reinforce this bottom, and I'm obviously adding some glue to the washi tape to make sure it stays on. So I'm just going to pop that there and pop some on the other side. I did have out my gold, my gold to pop around the edges, just because I like a bit of gold. So that will tie that in. I did have it out and I've put it away. I'm not sure where it is now. And I think I need a little sip of my tea because I'm a bit croaky. And my washi doesn't want to go back in. Come on. You can see that came from the works in the UK. Sorry for the glare. Right, where's my gold? Is that in my box as well? Sorry for reaching over, if you can see me. This is my gold. It's called Gilding polish. And I believe this is linked in my Amazon links below. So yeah, it is working. So I'm just going to run a little bit of this around the edges. Should have done this at Max. No, I should have done this before I sewed everything together, but it takes quite a long time to dry. Oh, for goodness sake. I'm all fingers and thumbs this morning. So it's just, you know, a little bit of extra interest. It's going to look nice when it's all dry. I'm trying not to smudge it. I'm having one of those mornings, aren't I? Mind you could probably say that about me every day, couldn't you? So these ones I'm literally just scooting along the edges here. I know you can't see, I've got half of it on my glue mat next to me. Let's do this half so you can see what I'm doing. I'm just running along here on the insides just to finish the edges. It's not going to be really noticeable. Excuse Max. Bless you, Max. What have you been sticking your nose in? Make you sneeze like that. Probably had it somewhere it shouldn't be. Right. Goodness me, I don't know what Max has been at, but it's definitely something doesn't like it. Up his nose, or his nose doesn't like somewhere he's been. Right. I've got very gold fingers now. I don't even know if you can see that on camera. But I've just literally run that around the edges. Just gives it a little finish. Makes the edges look finished because they were still a bit raw. So then my idea is This is the pack of ephemera, or what's left of it, that I was looking for, which prompted this project. So I think as I literally came across it, as soon as I turned the camera off after saying I couldn't find it, I think it's only fitting that I pop some of this in here so we can see how it's going to look. Sorry, I'm still slurping my tea. So these, I'm hoping that these bigger ones will fit in here. They might just be a little bit too tight. That's not going to go in. As I say, this is mainly for my smallish ephemera that I want to keep to hand. So that will go in there like that. And then we've got, you know, little bits and pieces to go in here, here and there. This, you know, just to give you an idea of these little tiny letters that Claire sent me that keep falling out and ending up all over the floor. If there's something on the floor, Max thinks that's fair game. I probably need to be more organised about this, you know, going forward, but I'm just popping these bits and pieces in so that you can see what they're going to look like. I can't remember which ones I did different sizes now. This was the item I was looking for originally. This gold's still not quite dry, so I'm making a bit of a mess here. Whoops. I will pick these things up. Keep going off camera, don't I, this morning? Put my little phone holder in a slightly different place. That's going to get damaged up there. Yeah, put my phone holder in a slightly different place and it's throwing me now. I was just seeing if it might be a better angle to work with, but I'm not sure that it is. Oh, look at my hands, covered in gold. So it takes quite a long time for this stuff to dry. I hope this is not boring you. So yes, in future I will make another one of these. I think, well, what I'm going to do first is use this for a bit and make sure that it is actually useful, because you know what it's like, you have these ideas and think, oh, that's a brilliant way to store all my bits and pieces, and then you find coming to actually use it, it can be a bit of a pain sometimes. So I'm going to use this for a bit and see if it works in the way I am anticipating. And if it does, I am going to make a bigger one, bigger and better. And I will make sure next time, I think, that I measure, or not even, well, yeah, measure page to page and draw a line where the bottom of my pockets are going to be, so that when I stitch, I don't have that issue of, you know, missing slightly, not catching everything I need to catch. So that's one thing I would do differently. I quite like the sturdiness of this because it's got, you know, it's got the envelope Then it's got paper on both sides of the envelope. This has turned out to, it's a bit like cardboard. So I quite like that, the sturdiness of it. It feels like it's gonna, you know, it's not gonna break or tear or damage as I'm putting things in and out. Obviously I would wait for the gold to dry before I start fiddling about with it. And also the other thing is where I put the glue dots to hold everything in place, I'd be a little more mindful. I would either use glue stick, just, you know, a dab on each end to hold it in place until I sewed, or I would be more mindful of where the glue dots were going to be, because some of them are a little bit too far into the pocket, which is reducing the amount of space we've got in the actual pocket, if you see what I mean. These stickers are getting lost in here. Mind you, when I put more in, they'll show up more, won't they? So, but it's not bad for a first attempt, I'll put it that way. And it's going to do the job that I intended it to do. So it's okay. It's going to be a useful little bit of kit. I've got far too much gold now on the front where I've moved that around and smudged it, but I'll probably stick something else on there. So what do you think of it? Would you find something like this useful, do you think? I'm just thinking that this is small. It can go in my box when I put everything away. I've got, you know, quite a lot of bits and pieces that I can have to hand to work from, and I can just replenish this as things get low. And obviously it might be better to organise things so that you know where things are, you know, put all tickets together and postage stamps together and stickers together, that sort of thing. I'm not sure. Or whether it's more sort of inspiring just to flick through and think, oh, that would look nice, or I don't know. I'm not sure. When you've got things disorganised, sometimes you end up using things that you wouldn't normally have thought of. You know, if I come to this for a postage stamp and I look at the postage stamp page, I may miss something that might have looked better. So as I say, I'm not sure exactly how I will use this going forward, but I think it will do for now. It gives me something to work from, and if I do find it useful, as I say, I think I will make a bigger one. I quite like the idea of making a lap book type one, you know, where I can fold it out 4 things and have a whole array of stuff in front of me while I'm working, rather than flipping through. But as I say, I'm glad I have made this one as a little test project, because it has given me ideas of what I would like in future and how I would like to do it. So I hope you found that interesting and useful. Obviously it's not laying completely flat because of all the bits and pieces in it, so it might need some sort of band or something around it as a closure. But as I say, this is probably just going to sit in the bottom of my box or up on my shelf, probably in the bottom of my box because I get that out every time I craft. So thank you for joining me for this little series. As I say, let me know what you think. Will you have a go at making one? And I'll be back again in another couple of days with working on something else. But I hope you have a lovely Easter, whatever Easter is to you. I hope you enjoy it. Have a lovely day, eat lots of chocolate and enjoy your own crafty time. I'll be back again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.